go. Shorty got the plug for the petrol. Shorty tryna go through my cell phone. Start acting up, take her ass home. But she cool though, locked down.
Lil Yachty just know how to piss everybody the fuck off. And I'm sure he doesn't intentionally do it. Or if he is, it might be genius as far as, you know, they say, as long as they're talking about you, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. But for the most part, this nigga know how to piss everybody the fuck off. These niggas like that, he just know how to turn on the hate for the hate people when they don't have anything else to hate on. He can just make people hate him instantly. It's crazy. I don't understand. It's insane. It's so funny. Granted, what he said, as far as fashion-wise, if you aren't aware, he said something on a podcast or someone's podcast or something about fashion. Let's see if we can find the original clip of what he actually said. And then he doubles down and hops on live and says that. Then he doubles down and says, he hops on live and says that, hey, Atlanta started all the trends. Can you be mad at him for saying it? He's young as fuck. I'm not gonna.
That in my Cash Cobain interview podcast or say place, there was a conversation about people getting fly, and I made a comment about the Bronx. I think I said that people from the Bronx can't dress. I'm not sure. Something that upset people. People brought up Mapleton and whatever, but I just wanna, and I'm only talking about this because I was going through some of my clothes and I seen this New York jacket, right? It made me think. It made me think about New York and people from New York. And I think about the history of just trends and shit. Not the history, because if you go back in a certain time, it's for sure New York. But if you think about lately, right? Okay.
This is not the whole clip, but he says everything comes from Atlanta. Now, it's not that I agree with him, but once again, you see Yachty's young, and when he probably looks at the average popular person coming out of New York, where did he say, the Bronx?
Yeah, so
Hold on.
I guess that about people getting fly, and I made a comment about the Bronx.
So him talking about people, the Bronx, and new people, or the people coming out of the Bronx. Yachty's young. I'm imagining who he's talking about are people in his class. Is anyone coming out of the Bronx or anyone coming out of just New York in general who were getting fly are going to be have a decent amount of age on him. So I'm imagining he's talking about people in his class, people in his age group or age range. Because when you look at a lot of those people coming out of New York, those dudes do be on the style that he clowns a lot, like the Tighter Marys and they don't really be the crazy fashionable trendsetter dudes that they were a couple generations ago when it was like Rocky and them. Because it's clear that he's not talking about people from Rocky's class. Rocky and up. He cannot be clearly talking about when he's saying this. Realistically, when you think about it. I gotta imagine he's talking about his class and under. The younger generation. because you see how they dress in New York, and it's not like they're setting a trend in a certain type of way, but that they used to. They're not. Anything in that degree that's getting worn was already created from the forefathers in New York. But that honestly isn't really necessarily a case for what Yachty's talking about, because at the same time, I can't credit any new trends from Atlanta that are like, oh yeah, that's it right there. I can't necessarily think of any. I've been asking around for what it is those new trends are, because I give credit when credit's due. The tall tee era, regardless of how you look at it, hate on it if you want. Was totally a product of the tall tee era, for sure. And I give Atlanta credit for that shit. At least the South, I give the South Atlanta credit for that era, for sure. But white ones, I'm still, even though you had them putting out songs about it and stuff like that, ones and stuff like that, I'm a credit from New York, from the Northeast at least. But the tall tee era for sure goes to Atlanta, 100%. But I can't think of. I personally couldn't. I tried to, being biased. Hey, I'm not from either area, so in reality, it doesn't matter to me. Because Boston, it's not like Boston's getting any credit for anything. I try to think. Let me think. What else could Atlanta be credited for? That's one thing he didn't say in his video. Maybe because he didn't. I think it's because he didn't have anything. But of course he can. And the issue is that a lot of his fits, people are gonna credit them for being New York fits, because a lot of them are in vein of artists who came from New York, a la ASAP, Rocky, and just New York artists in general. I mean, look at the jacket he showed.
But I just wanna.
I just wouldn't even.
I'm talking about this because I was going through some of my clothes and I seen this New York jacket.
Realistically, him even saying that with owning this jacket is almost blasphemous. Like, you owning that jacket and saying what you said is almost blasphemous. It's like, doesn't even make sense to a degree. It does not even make sense. I don't understand how you don't see the foundation of the fashion. Because like I said, if you had brought receipts to this argument, I think no one would have had an issue from jump. But you didn't say, oh, the South was, Atlanta was, we did this and this and this and this. All in the comments, if you go in the comments of any of these posts, all you see is people bringing up all the things that New York is credited with, making popular, regardless of whether someone else wore before, whatever. You have all these things that is credited from New York. So I think we would need the receipts. What are you specifically saying are the trends that Atlanta made popping? Because, hey, if you show up with the receipts, people would support it. And then on top of that, it coming from someone who, for some reason, people just like to hate on Yachty. So that's not going to help the situation at all. People love to hate on this nigga, so I think it's a gift and a curse. It's similar to like I don't want to say Joe Budden, but almost in that ilk, as far as just like people will always, their engagement, they always have traction, regardless of, you can hate on a nigga's career or whatever it is. Niggas will always check for what they gotta say or their opinion, or because I'm sure many people have said this before and no one gave a fuck, but it's because Yachty. But at the same time, most people are like, oh, you have something negative to say, so then why are you even paying attention to it? You shouldn't even know what he's saying. You know? So it's it definitely, that negative engagement is that type of engagement, that type of like, I'ma engage regardless type shit is extremely valuable nowadays. Cause hey, have you agree with don't have you agree with the person, and y'all had thinking on the same level. You know, most of the time that person's always gonna be someone you're gonna disagree with, or you're gonna feel some type of way, not 100% agree with, or whatever it is. But don't have y'all fucking thinking on the same level. Shit. It's crazy that Yachty said that, though. I'm not gonna hold you. It's crazy that he said that. Just hating on you. He knew. That's why I think he was trolling. He definitely knew that him talking about the Bronx like that. I'm just surprised because I figured he would have just like, because of how he dresses. It's not like I'm not gonna be the one who says, oh, he dresses like a New York, but it seems like he definitely gets vibes from New York 100%. He carries himself like he has respect for that part of fashion, the New York vibe. So it's so weird that he would say that. So that's why the only thing I could think of, realistically, is the people who are younger than him and in his class. Because they don't really, I don't think they really carry themselves in a way that is like fashion forward. They kind of just follow the trends, whatever's trending. Which you hear it in his music. He says Mary's skinnies and Dior trainers on. You know, you hear and you see it in the drill music that I'm sure that's what he's automatically, how the average drill rapper dresses is what he's actually. Let's see if I could just Google. This is 100% what Yachty's talking about. Because that's normally what's coming out of New York nowadays. The shiesty. Some Jordans. The Nike Tech. Some 11s. A Louis winter jacket. That's 100% what that's 100% what I think Yachty is getting at. The K flocks. 100%. That's definitely what he's, I think, because that's essentially the fit. Now, is this a bad fit? No. But when you have 100 motherfuckers who will kill you dressed like that, I can see where it's so funny, though. Yeah. He didn't apologize. He didn't step back on anything he said, but he did end up getting into a conversation with Bloody Osiris, where I don't know if it was a thing of them squashing it, but more or less just Yachty clarifying what he was saying. That's the issue with these conversations. I try to listen to it, but I was like, yo, what? And you look at the comments, you see, it's like, yeah, legit, like, you really see two dudes just arguing over fashion, and it's just like, what the fuck? Even with the original comment of what Yachty said. Like, it's like, what are we doing here? Why the fuck do we care what the dudes in the Bronx are wearing? Like, are we serious? That's where we're at right now? That's what you talking about on your fucking podcast? Is what the dudes in the Bronx are wearing? Yachty, you ain't got nothing better to talk about? And that's when you know, like, that type of traction, it clearly might be a slow news week. Clearly, if that's what motherfuckers give a fuck about.